Hey everyone, I'm Leo. This is Frank.
And this is RECOLLECT Season 3, Episode 2.
3, Episode 2. And you're my number one favorite. Welcome back everyone to RECOLLECT Season 3, Episode 2. We are so glad to be back. Both of our fans showed up for our Episode 1, and I think they told a few other of their friends, so thank you for doing that. This is always a blast to do. We thought it'd be a perfect opportunity to dig into one of the most recognizable faces, if you will, of Halloween, and that is the Michael Myers mask. Non-hardcore fans probably don't realize that there is a different looking mask in all the movies. What do you think about when you think of the Michael Myers mask?
It's one of the most iconic images in horror, right? Along with Leatherface's chainsaw or Freddy Krueger's glove.
Jason's mask, the killer doll from Chucky. I mean, it's truly iconic, and I think anyone on Halloween, if they see that white mask and those coveralls, they're going to Michael Myers, and they already know that's our two-name villain. There's Freddy, Chucky, Leatherface, Jason, who's not always referred to as Jason Voorhees every once in a while, who's only usually referred to as Freddy. Anyway, moving on.
And it's interesting to note that as far as cover art for the VHSs go, starting with part 4, his face is on every single cover art.
Absolutely. But yeah, I think with no further ado, let's get into our countdown. So I think we've agreed on approximately 20 legitimate looks for Michael Myers between Halloween 1, or Halloween 1978, and Halloween Ends. Yep. So we've pre-made some lists here. Frank, this is your list. So we're going to start with number 20. Frank, let them know what your number 20 worst Michael Myers mask is, because this is going from worst to best.
There's only one pick that you can really put at number 20 as the worst Myers mask of all time. This
is the worst mask in the entire franchise, nicknamed
the Mofugga.
The Mofugga. That's a bad Mofugga, but not in a good way.
It's a real nickname.
It is a real nickname. This is the mask from Halloween Resurrection. What don't you like about it, Frank?
Everything. So the Michael Myers mask is supposed to be this expressionless, blank canvas of a face, right? And the purpose of that is for the audience to project their fears, or whatever, onto that mask, onto that canvas. And this does not do any of that. They literally painted the expression, the grimace, onto the mask.
He's got like a furrowed brow.
Yeah. And then the cheekbones, and
yeah, he looks painted, and not in like not a good way, not in like they painted up the mask to look great. No, it's just he's got just the weirdest expression. His hair looks weird.
Yeah.
And it's just not a good look.
Didn't you like the Mofugga at one point?
I loved. Sadly, I loved the Mofugga.
Curious to see where before we rewatched Resurrection and I Swayed You, where would the Mofugga?
Oh, it's probably my second top favorite of all time. No, I'm kidding. I saw 6 in theaters, H2O, and Resurrection in theaters. And I was just glad for another Halloween film. So at the time, you're just like, I'll take it. Looks fine. Yeah, let's just keep going with it. But it was not that great in retrospect. But yeah, the Mofugga is definitely the worst. What's your number 19, Frank?
Mine is the burnt Mofugga at the end of the film.
He is burnt at the end, and he goes to the county morgue, and he's unzipped, and you see this burnt version of the mask. Now, it actually improves on the mask in my belief, because it does burns off all that horrible hair, that horrible furrowed brow, and it just kind of leaves this pale mask, which has been kind of singed from the look.
Where is your number 19? What is your name?
My number 19 is actually the clean version of Rob Zombie's Halloween mask. The clean version appears only in the beginning with young Michael. What scenes does it feature in, Frank?
When Steve puts it on when he's with Judith in the bed. It's too clean. I understand it's supposed to be. It's right off the rack, most likely.
Mm-hmm. So moving on, Frank, what is your number 18?
My number 18 is the Rob Zombie Clean.
Close. We're very close.
Very close.
But yes.
What's your number 18?
18 is the Rob Zombie Halloween 2 Weathered Look. Now, the Rob Zombie 2 Halloween Weathered Look, just to be specific, this is in Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, his sequel to his 2007 film. It's the mask he wears during the duration of most of the movie. At the beginning, it's the dream sequence mask, and then at the end, it's the weathered mask, but with the kind of Terminator 2 torn out face, showing the two different between his face and the actual mask. So the one he wears during the duration, it's honestly just a very rotted out version. It's very, very dark color. And what do you think of it?
I totally agree. At least the dream sequence and the torn version have a little bit of character to it.
Right.
A little bit more character.
It may be the same mold, but there's definitely been some changes to it. And it's definitely worth mentioning.
My number 17 is a topic of debate, I guess you could say, among horror fans, because a lot of people seemingly love this mask. I absolutely freaking hate it. Makes me wonder if they watched the same movie as I did. The flashback mask from Halloween Kills.
I'm with you there. What don't you like about it?
Well, they tried to make it like the original, which it should have been, right? It's the flashback. But they failed. It looks nothing like it. And maybe it's the way the shape of the guy's face that wore it. It's not thin like Nick Castle's face was and the mask was in the original.
It does look more rigid.
It's fatter, yeah. It's not, generally speaking, a bad mask, but using it as the flashback mask, I feel like they tried to pull one over on us, and it failed to me. It looks nothing like it.
Very easily gone with the actual Nick Castle, William Shatner inspired mask from the first film. And that would have made the flashbacks better, but instead we got this kind of technically brand new look.
So that was my number 17, is the Kills flashback. What's your number 17?
Number 17 for me is the Rob Zombie Halloween Weathered, which is what he wears during the duration of the film as an adult when he goes back to his childhood home, tears up the floorboards, pulls out a rotted version of that mask. It's a cool look, but it's just not interesting to me.
Yeah, there's really nothing spectacular about it.
No, what do you think of it?
No additional thoughts on that.
I'll take that. What's your number 16?
Mine is the H2O, the Halloween H2O Stan Winston mask. This is the mask that he wears throughout the whole movie, pretty much.
A little background on it, just so everyone understands the difference. When they first started shooting the film, they went with a much more pale blank mask that was made by K&B. When the studio or the producers started seeing the dailies, they didn't like the mask. Steve Miner, the director, loved that mask. So much to his chagrin, he actually had to reshoot some material, and in some cases, just the shots of Michael wearing this new mask created by Stan Winston Studios, which had a little bit more of a facial likeness to it rather than the just complete blank. So it is what you see in most of the film. You kind of have to look and these brief little flashes and moments when you see the other one, which is the K&B mask. What do you like or not like about it?
Well, I don't like exactly what you said, because it's more of it looks more like a face, like a person's face. That to me, that doesn't say Michael Myers mask. It's supposed to be, like I said earlier, the
blank slate.
The blank slate. The K&B mask, which we'll get to, is totally opposite of that. And I can see why Steve Miner liked that one. So, Leo, what is your number 16?
Number 16 is the Kills flashback. It just ranks a little bit lower than Frank's. What's your number 15?
My number 15, you're going to hate me for it because you love this movie. Halloween 5. The mask from Halloween 5.
How dare you?
It's the neck, the elongated neck, the slick back hair, the humongous nose. Look at that.
Look at that neck. Look at that schnoz.
I love Don Shanks. He's not the worst Michael ever. Trust me.
I love him. He's not the worst.
I love him. He's
Look at that hair though. It's insane.
Well, that one's kind of bad. And then he wears it on the outside of the coveralls.
Yes.
So it just looks.
So all you see is neck.
Yeah.
Which is insane. And look at that schnoz.
The eyes, yeah. The ears, the big ears. It's just...
This ranks a little better for me on pure nostalgia. We'll get to that ranking soon, but yeah, what the hell?
So what's your number 15, Leo?
Number 15 is the H2O Stan Winston mask. So everything that we just said. So now we're on year 14.
Mine is the Rob Zombie Halloween 2 torn, ripped Terminator mask, as they call it. Or someone calls it. You called it.
I call it that. It's a great look.
I liked it because it was something new that we never seen before. We never seen that half human face and half mask look. So I thought that was very interesting, even though I didn't really like the movie that much.
I like Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 more than Frank does. Just because it's so out there. And the fact that it doesn't happen like until towards the third act, and he's already in the hobo suit, and it's just another way of tearing down the layers as this character starts to go away, which, you know, spoiler alert, he dies at the end of Halloween 2. Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, his character dies. So
I think showing the face, the human side of him, takes away from the mystery that is Michael Myers, sort of humanizes him more. That's why it ranks, you know, a little bit lower than those other two.
When Rob Zombie chose to use Tyler Mane's eyes, I think I just accepted him as this more human Michael Myers. So I think that's why I like the torn away face, because it kind of shows us what humanizes him more. He's not the indestructible death machine.
So what's your number 14?
My number 14 is the H2O, Halloween H2O K&B mask, which is the all-white mask. We talked a little bit about it before when we were contrasting it with the Stan Winston mask. But I like it just because it's an odd-looking mask. I mean, it sounds kind of messed up. I don't like it because it's great. I like it because it's odd. It's even the original trailers showed Jamie Lee Curtis facing off with that all-white mask, and it was like staggering to see. Yeah.
I remember the trailer like by heart, right? The first teaser trailer.
Same.
Where she comes face to face with him. And then when you see the actual movie and it's replaced with the Stan Winston mask, it's a very like, huh? Yeah. I was like, what? That's disappointing.
I had the exact same reaction, and I think that's why the K&B mask stands out to me, because it is unique in that sense. So,
and I'm a sucker for those white masks.
Right, yeah.
So
exactly, because the motherfucker is just pure white. He loves the pure white masks.
Not when it's done right.
There we go. There you go. Look at that. Got him. Like just kind of right in the ribs. So Frank, what's your number 14?
13.
13. Lucky number 13.
It's the Rob Zombie Halloween 2, The Weathered.
Yeah, which we went over as my number 18.
So I put that as number 13, a little bit higher on my list. So what's your number 13?
Lucky 13 is Halloween Resurrection Burnt Mask.
Number 13?
Yeah.
Oh, I was looking at sorry.
Oh, yeah, that's my horrible writing.
Go again.
That's my horrible writing.
What is your number 13 again?
I'll give you a sneak peek. Horrible writing. So Frank's number 12. What? Tell me. Talk to me.
My number 12 is the Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 Dream Sequence mask. Because when you think about the ending of the first movie, the Rob Zombie Halloween 1, she shoots him. He's supposed to have blood all over the mask. It looks even cooler when he's in the rain.
Yeah, because his hair's like, well, he's like soaked and his hair's like sticking up. And yeah, like his hair's like, like that. Yeah. It's like all phrased and frilly. Mine ranks really high, but right now we're talking about why Frank's ranks low.
But I can understand why his ranks that high, because it looks pretty badass. Because I mean, we got 20 masks. This is right above the midway for me.
Right.
So Leo, what's your number 12?
Number 12. It's pure nostalgia. Halloween 2 Ben Tramer mask. Okay. What are your thoughts on it?
Well, like you said, it ranks a lot higher for me. I get where you're coming from, because it isn't an official Myers mask.
Loomis is driving. He sees someone in a Myers mask, but he's got blonde hair. And he's so frazzled from having shown him 6 times that he pursues him, because it looks like a Myers mask. But it turns out it's Ben Tramer, the guy that Laurie had a crush on in the first film. A lot of chaos in that moment.
Yes, and that's what it represents, is the state of mind that Loomis is in at the time, and the police, and I think that's why I like it, just because it's this poor innocent dude that didn't have to die,
and that tense moment culminates in that beautiful Ben Tramer mask.
So that was your number 12, right?
It is.
So my number 11. Actually, what's your number 11? I want to hear yours first.
Halloween Ends.
Ooh, okay.
Not much to say. It's the third mask in the David Gordon Green trilogy. It's the same mask as Halloween 2018. Rotted 2018. In Kills, half burnt. In Ends, rotted, still half burnt.
And more
but
rotted.
More rot.
Yeah.
And there looks like there's mold or something growing on it. But yeah, I mean, I'm not a huge fan of it. But it is better than a lot of other ones. What are your likes and dislikes on it?
I like it, especially in certain lighting. There's a scene where he's in the sewer after he kills the cop, and he has that rejuvenation moment after he kills him, and it's the lighting, it's the blue lighting. A lot of masks look better in certain lighting than they do in just regular lighting. Consistency is a thing that they were lacking throughout the whole franchise with the masks. Right. So at least David Gordon Green got that one right.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah, your number 11.
My number 11 is what you chose earlier, the K&B H2O mask, the full white.
Frank, what's your top 10? Number 10, I should say.
These are our top 10. The Halloween 3, yes, we are including this. The trio as one, the witch, the pumpkin, and the skeleton masks from Halloween 3, Season of the Witch.
There are three iconic looks to what we think of when we think of Halloween the season.
Yes.
Not just the film.
Right. So, and that's why I can't put it too high, because technically it's not a Myers mask. But I didn't want to put it too low because it deserves some freaking respect. So that's my number 10, the trio mask as a whole. What is your number 10?
Ladies and gentlemen, my top 10 begins with, this is descending order, Halloween 2018 mask.
Okay. Why is that?
I like the look, but I don't love the look. I actually like the Kills mask better because it's that look plus the burn. But still, I still don't think it's the best version of the mask. What are your thoughts?
It's a little bit higher on my list. The part where he's the little trick-or-treaters run up to him and he's in on the sidewalk.
Oh, that's probably the best scene in the whole movie.
Exactly, and it's just the lighting, and it's just that house to house.
And you kind of feel like you got Michael back.
Exactly,
you got Michael back. So.
And then it goes downhill from there. But, and then when he's in the closet too, that's a cool look for him too, and it pops in that scene. Again, it's all about lighting. And the thing about David Gordon Green, when they made this movie, they wanted to get a mask that looked like the original as best they could. I don't believe that they did. I don't believe
the biggest load of crap I ever heard in my life.
There's no way, as a true fan. I'm not trying to sound pretentious. As a true fan, you cannot tell me that looks anything like the original. Just because it's white.
It's a different freaking sculpt.
Yeah. Number 9. What's your number 9?
My number 9 is Halloween 6. Which is blasphemy for Frank.
Yeah.
Because his rank's a lot higher. It's so hard to get that look just right. What you see on the screen is it at its best. Because it's been professionally made. It's been professionally shot, lit, and worn by a fantastic actor in the role of Michael Myers. So,
in part 6, I mean, George Wilbur's known for wearing the pads, to make himself bulkier.
I don't think he wore it in part 6. I think he just wore it in part 4. Or did he wear it in 6 too?
I mean, he looks pretty bulky in 6. But,
yeah, it's possible.
But the mask looks a little bit bulkier. It's a little bit fatter.
Yes.
But it's intimidating to me. So
I agree with that.
So that was your number 10.
Yeah.
Right? And my number 9 is one that you've already spoken about, and it's the Ben Tramer mask from Halloween 2. I already said why I like it. That's why it's so high on my list.
It's a great mask.
What's your number 9?
Number 8.
Oh yeah. So we're gonna go into our number 8.
Halloween 4. I think there's no better person to start that than this guy. What are your thoughts?
The creepiest of creepy. The part 4, it's completely white. There's no expression on it whatsoever. You're able to, like I said earlier, project your fears and what everything you're thinking up here onto that mask, and it becomes its own like character almost. I have a little bit higher up
His is much higher up than mine. But I think this is also one of those areas where Frank changed my mind, much like the Mofugga. Part 8, Halloween Resurrection. It didn't rank very high for me for a very long time.
I never understood the hate because, again, like Halloween 6, some of the best lit scenes, some of the best cinematography is in this movie.
Couldn't agree more. Now we're moving to Frank's number 8. Frank, what do you got for number 8?
We've already discussed it previously. Rob Zombie's Halloween 1, The Weathered. That's what he wears throughout the majority of it.
It's alright.
Yeah.
I don't got any problem with it, but I do like the more jacked up versions of it.
Yeah. Let's go to our number 7. What's your number 7?
My number 7 is Halloween 5. We discussed it earlier. Long neck, big nose, long hair. Wears it on the outside of the coveralls. But I do like it. Ranks higher for me because of nostalgia. It was the first Halloween movie I ever saw from beginning to end. What's your number 7?
Is the Halloween 2018 mask.
Did we talk about that one? Yeah.
We did.
Mm-hmm.
So, what's your number 6?
Number 6 is the Halloween Kills mask. And this is one. This is the Halloween Kills. This is a rehauled from Trick or Treat Studios. After, he's in the house fire. So there's a lot more to work with. You have a lot more texture, a lot more damage. And, you do get a lot more when you watch the movie, in my opinion, when you have something more complicated to look at. And again, you couldn't have the exact same mask as Halloween 2018 because you've done a whole movie with it. But they kept consistency, which I do give them thumbs up for, and they gave us a charred, gnarly little beast here, which I do enjoy and I do like very much. So, yeah, big kudos to this mask. This is why I chose to own this one versus 2018 and versus the Ends one. But it's kind of the same mask. Where are we at with your number 6?
Halloween Ends. I loved the rotted, mossy. He's been in the sewer for 4 years.
And I think
it kind of
that's where the moss mold buildup is, because he's been under the sewers. I never thought of that. I was like, how does ash and latex grow mold? Oh wait, it's because he's under the sewer and it's all like misty and nasty down there.
5. We're on our top 5.
Top 5. Is it my 5 or is it your 5?
Right.
Oh yeah, you did End, so now it's my 5.
So yeah,
the Halloween 3 trio. Already talked about it. Very reminiscent of Halloween.
So why is it so high on your list?
It's iconic looking, and I love Halloween 3. I don't think that they can be one negated from the other and just say, well, I prefer the pumpkin, I prefer the skull, I prefer the witch. No, they work as a trio. Exactly. Always have, always will. Your number 5, kind sir.
Halloween Kills. The David Gordon Green. The best. We talked about it already. It's out of those 3, it's the best because it's not weathered and it's not too white.
DGG.
I do like. It's not a great movie, but it's an entertaining movie.
Yeah.
So
agreed.
What's your number 4, sir?
The Halloween Rob Zombie 2 Torn Face.
That was my number 14.
That was his number 14. So as you can tell,
10
rankings are definitely different on that. I just think it's a cool look. It's a very badass look, and I love badass looking horror characters.
My number
Franklin,
4.
what is your number 4?
It's Halloween 2 mask when he's in the reflection of the car window or the car mirror. The side view.
Oh, that is a cool shot in the parking lot of the hospital.
When he steps out into the red lighting, when he's after Lori, is great.
Is this my number 3 or your number 3?
This is your number 3.
My number 3, we've discussed already, which is Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 Dream Sequence.
Because mine's number 12. Again, 10 spot difference.
I love this look.
9.
I love this look. There's really nothing more to say. We've already said it, but God, this is just beautiful. And again, like Frank said earlier, it's about the scene that it takes place in. His kills in that are brutal, and he looks gnarly and scary, and I love it. That's why it ranks as my top 3.
He looks the most intimidating and scary in that dream sequence that he does in the rest of the movie.
I agree. Oh yeah. He's just go.
He's pretty freaking
He's gnarly looking.
Yeah, exactly.
I like it.
I can see that.
What's Frank's number 3?
You ready to hear some blasphemy?
Uh-oh. Tell me now.
Because it's the OG. That's why. It's hard.
Why?
My top 3 is very, very hard. Okay, it's close. But it never scared me, and maybe it's because of the time I grew up in. I didn't grow up when it was first released. I'm sure it scared the hell out of people. It never scared me, and that's a big part in why I like certain Myers masks and why I don't. It's still a person's face. It's probably one of the whitest masks there is.
That's why it's known as blasphemy, ladies.
I know it's the OG, and
I do respect Frank's opinion, and I don't just mean that because I'm sitting here with him. Like, I genuinely do respect his opinion, and I may not always agree with it. There's times where he does change my point of view on it to where I agree a lot more. In this particular case, I don't agree. But I do see why.
That's okay.
He does make sense in why, because he's verbalized it before.
That is my blasphemous number 3 pick. What's your number?
My number 2
pick.
My number 2. We're getting down to the top 2 here, ladies and gentlemen. Halloween 2. Like Frank said, and we just talked about. Where did it rank on yours?
4.
And for me, it's number 2. Like I said, I think we said everything about it. Great look. Definitely not the one from the first film. All I gotta say. Frank, what's your number 2?
My number 2 is nostalgia. Number Halloween 6. Number Halloween 6. Mine is the
Halloween number 6.
It's one of the scariest to me.
And for me, it ranked as number 9.
Number 9.
So there's a 7-point difference in our ranking there. But anyway, moving on.
So that's my number 2. Okay, we reached our number 1.
Uh-oh.
I mean,
this is
process of elimination.
This is where ultimate blasphemy comes into play here.
Not by him.
Not about him. I mean, spoiler alert, my favorite mask is the original, for reasons we've already discussed.
I was going to build it up. Hell
up. No, we need to find out.
Halloween 4 is my number 1. It's more ghostly. The part 4 mask, it's more in ghost movies, etc. terrify me, or they used to at least.
Until last week.
Not just because it's the OG, but tell me why you like the Halloween 1 mask out of everything.
That's the movie that scared the daylights out of me. For everything that it was, the lighting, the composition, the everything that movie was and represented. And I like the fact that there was some humanness to it. It almost felt like that made it that much creepier to me because it was a human-like face just off. Just slightly off with no eyes. And he had hair, he has ears, he has a nose, he has a mouth, but something's just slightly off. And much like the character, it's like he walks like a person, but he's a shape. He is this detachment of a person. And he's not, at the end, you kind of see that, he kind of doesn't follow the same rules as the rest of us do. And you have to often, and it leaves a lot to your imagination. Like, why did he end up like this? He started off as just a little kid. What happened to this little kid? And it has a lot of questions. It leaves it open to thought process. And again, I think the mask embodies that. And I think any way you photograph it, it looks differently. So there's something very dead and detached from that face because it makes it look like a person, but it's not a person. And I think that's the duality of Myers, is that he is a person, but he's not.
And it depends on which version of Michael you prefer, because Halloween 4, Halloween 1 Michael are 2 totally different types of characters.
Agreed.
Do you prefer the phantom, indestructible Myers from Halloween 4, or it could happen to me type version of Michael Myers? And I get where you're coming from.
And likewise with Halloween 4.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the benefit of doing a countdown list, is that you count down and you start to see the different reasons why this one sits here, why this one sits here, etc., to the point where you just kind of start to question why you like it. What are your closing thoughts on the countdown?
Everything's subjective. We were just having fun. It doesn't mean we're right, you're wrong.
Oh, Frank's wrong.
He's
or is
so
he right?
Wrong. We love all of them, and they give us a different feeling. Each mask gives us a different reaction, different feeling inside. And
I don't think I've ever thought of them in this like ranking before, and I don't know how many people actually do. I know there's some serious Michael Myers mask collectors out there who spend a fortune on just one mask.
Is there any honorable mentions you would like to throw out? I got
CGI.
Honorable.
Mask.
I said honorable.
Oh,
Dishonorable.
dishonorable discharge. Honorable mentions, probably the Blood Tears mask. The Blood Tears version from Halloween 2. You?
I got two. One is going to be the original clown mask that he picks up and he kills Judith.
That is honorable.
Honorable. Is the bandaged H4 mask.
Oh, that is very honorable.
That scene where he's in the cafe and he's Michael, and it's just that zoom in and he's just standing there.
Dope. You're right.
That's creepy. And if he would have had that look throughout the entire movie, that would have been pretty badass, honestly. But I do like the Part 4 mask, obviously.
All right. Well, I think that's going to close it out for us. And I'm happy to say that Terror Recollect is back. We are enjoying this process. And I thank you all for tuning in. Frank, anything else you want to say to our two fans?
Thanks, guys. For
both
returning.
of y'all. Rolling?
It is.
There's a counter down there. Just roll. All right.
So this time you will say, I'm Frank. Or I'm Leo.
I'm Frank. and you're Leo.
This is Leo. Only took you 75,000 tries, but you know.
Everyone. No, that was horrible. All right. Everyone. Okay, let's go.
You're doing it with me. 3, 2.
And what's the first thing you think of when you think of the Michael Myers masks?
Expressionless. That's pretty much it.
Little Michael ends up, I think, finding it on the ground.
Yeah. Well,
you gonna fart?
No. Hold on, I gotta figure out what I'm gonna say to that.
We almost had it.
We almost had it.
That was so close.
It's okay. So that's okay. The dream sequence is number 12 because
let's start all over.
Yeah, let's.
You're gonna. This way, I don't have to reach out for it. I'm just gonna bring it up from oblivion. Yes, I've been holding it this whole time.
From oblivion.
He's been here the whole time.